Okay, let's wrap this thing up. Yes, you'll eventually shoot when we get you down in the range. Back in previous iterations in this class, this segment took up 2 hours of actual training time on the day. We're now able to reapportion that time to actual hard skills. So this works out well for everybody, I think. So do's and don'ts. Do mind your own business. Don't involve yourself. Don't borrow trouble, to borrow a phrase. Keep your ego checked if you have a confrontation with someone. Remember, if you are armed and you're having a confrontation, it is essentially an armed confrontation. Call 911, hang back, let the cops sort this thing out. Remember, you're not shooting to kill. You're shooting to stop the imminent threat. That's a distinction with a difference that will have ramifications if you have to defend yourself in the court. After the event, check yourself and your friends for any extra holes. Highly adrenalized, you may be injured and not be aware of it. Do not, well, I'm going to use the phrase again, don't be an asshole. Don't be the person that triggers conflict, because you just don't know who you're messing with. After an event, it is a mistake to pursue an attacker. If you are victimized and the guy runs off, you're a victim. If you start chasing him with a weapon, you can become a vigilante. No warning shots. Those are a disaster for a couple of reasons. First off, you haven't taken a step to positively solve your problem to disable someone who can harm you. I mean, if I've got a small window to inflict injury upon someone before they hurt me, I can take full advantage of that. Secondly, you've launched a bullet that's going to hit something somewhere. The bullet never misses. It always hits something. Thirdly, regardless which pistol you have, you've just reduced by a fraction of one of your rounds, your capacity to resist. Every shot has to be aimed in order to effect a stop. Do not leave the scene of the self-defense incident, because that does tend to speak to your state of mind. Someone can call it like a guilty state of mind. You can leave the scene if you are under threat of physical assault beyond which you can cope. You're in a self-defense situation. The guy are down, and then 15 of his best friends show up. That might be the time to leave. And then call police as quickly as you can to meet you at a secure location. Drive to a police station or even a fire station. Don't expect there will be someone there, but probably no one there to help you in that circumstance. Something to think about. Do get and keep your mind right. Every day, occasionally just go through the paper, notice what has happened in your area around you. There's a YouTube channel I recommend called Active Self-Protection by John Correa. Lots of good information in that channel, and it's once or twice a week, watch one of those videos, because it will involve armed self-defense scenarios, actual events. And the thing is, watching those videos, you're actually kind of vicariously experiencing the event, and that's part of your training cycle. You can take that on board and articulate to a court or an officer why you did what you did, because I've seen this pattern erupt before. Fail victim selection. Head up, eyes looking around, look like work. Finally, you got to carry your damn gun. The best gun holster combination in the world is worthless if it's at home. Doesn't do anybody any good. Some final thoughts. When the gun goes on, pride and ego come off. You have to walk through life devoid of pride and ego. If there's one, there are two. If there are two, there are three. Always assume, particularly now, there's one more assailant. Experience is showing now that if people show up, mass shooters, active killers, with a rifle, they tend to come with the body armor in order to extend the time they can inflict misery. So aim accordingly. Finally, I'll make this. You can do everything right and still end up losing. Some years ago, there was an incident in Tyler, Texas, where a guy was shooting up a courthouse. And a gentleman popped up from behind cars and shot this guy twice in the back with a .45 caliber pistol. Guy was wearing body armor. His name was Mark Wilson. He was subsequently killed defending his town, his city. He did a lot of things right, but he still ended up losing. Even us on a street encounter, we can do everything right and still end up losing, both in the fight and the after fight in the courtroom. What should come next? Well, I've got some other classes here locally and around the country. Street encounter skills and tactics puts a fine point to this. Pepper spray, trauma, verbalization, movement, some other concepts. You are lucky here in Northern Virginia. You have a couple other companies, Green Ops and Justified Defensive Concepts. I have a class on vehicle environment skills, two-person tactics, pepper spray. There's a host of classes here in Northern Virginia that you can take, and I recommend that you expand beyond this class. This is a continual process. I'll list off these resources for you. VCDL, handgunlaw.us, The Law of Self-Defense by Andra Branca, and The Little Black Book of Violence is a very good read. And I have a newsletter. That wraps up the presentation. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for your trust, and I guarantee a positive, effective learning experience.